smash the state. In late August, a crowd of thousands, primarily leftists and liberals, cascaded down Martin Luther King Jr. Way in Berkeley, California. They were marching on a spattering of right-wingers, Trump supporters and Nazis who were gathering under the mission to say no to Marxism in America. At the front of the march were about 100 people dressed in head-to-toe black. According to many people present, this was the largest so-called black bloc they'd seen. This medley of black-clad anarchists, anti-fascists, known as antifa activists, and their fellow travelers was a response to the previous week's white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Va. There, protests ended with 19 injured and 32-year-old Heather Heyer killed when James Fields, an admirer of Hitler who demonstrated with white supremacists, drove his car into a crowd. This mass of solid black descending upon the park in Berkeley, hunting for fascists, was an intimidating aesthetic. That's by design. Cops wear camouflage when they arrest people in city drug raids, said Ben, a Bay Area activist. But they're in a city. It doesn't help them, but it makes them look more intimidating. Ben says he has participated in protests since 2000, including Bush, Gore, Occupy Oakland and Black Lives Matter. The Times agreed to use only his first name because of the threat of harassment, online or otherwise, by activists. A group of people all dressed in black can be intimidating, he said. Is that intimidation the motive or just a benefit? Do black bloc practitioners dress up because, as many progressives wonder, they want to commit crimes? What do they get out of masking up? Where does uniform merge with tactic? By now, you know the look. Black work or military boots, pants, balaclavas or ski masks, gloves and jackets, North Face brand or otherwise. Gas masks, goggles and shields may be added as accessories, but the basics have stayed the same since the look's inception. It's impossible to say which anarchist street movement first donned all black. The generally agreed upon genesis for the bloc's current incarnation is the autonomous movement of the 1970s, which grew out of class struggles in Germany, Italy, the Netherlands and beyond. Antifa groups, an overlapping but not at all identical set of people, trace their lineage back further, to those who fought against the rise of Hitler. Generally, where there is fa, there's been Antifa. According to a history distributed by an anarchist news service in 2001, by Daniel Dillon-Young, a continuing struggle in Germany between squatters and police evictors culminated in a 1981 action in which activists dressed in black motorcycle helmets and ski masks, wearing uniform black clothing. Nearly immediately, the benefits of such a uniform were realized. Everyone quickly figured out, Mr. Young wrote, that having a massive group of people all dressed the same with their faces covered not only helps in defending against the police, but also makes it easier for saboteurs to take the offensive against storefronts, banks and any other material symbols and power centers of capitalism in the state. Both the ease of uniform procurement, the barrier to entry is just getting black clothes, with only your own ethical purchasing guidelines to steer you, and the aesthetics effectiveness allowed black blocs to spread. During Ronald Reagan's visit to Berlin in 1986, a group of 3,000 showed up, according to Mr. Young. In 1999, a block of 500 was part of the March for Mumia in Philadelphia, protesting the imprisonment of the journalist Mumia Abu-Jamal. That same year, between 100 and 300 people became the bloc at the World Trade Organization meeting in Seattle. It was a look so successful that the bloc's greatest enemies considered adopting it. As Mark Bray details in his incisive Antifa, the anti-fascist handbook, there have been occasional attempts to co-opt the bloc look by right-wing fascist groups. That's died down recently, with the loose overlapping affiliation of nationalists, white supremacists and Nazis instead adopting an overdressed, old-fashioned style often referred to as dapper. So, while they wear khakis and white polos, the black bloc are left with some particular defensive and offensive benefits of their very own. The creation of mass anonymity protects practitioners from the threat of post-action doxing by white supremacist groups, a process by which their identities and contact information, including addresses and places of employment, are publicized. People at home can use this information to harass and threaten. Similarly, police and other agencies have staff devoted to documenting demonstrations, and they work to identify people on film and video. These are among the reasons that some anarchists and anti-fascists advocate smashing cameras at